Do you feel it? It's the relief you're going to finally be able to feel by the end of this week. Aries. This is your weekly tarot card reading from Born Without Boundaries Tarot. Welcome to my tarot table. My name is Michelle. For those of you who are just joining, God bless and thank you so much for coming and clicking on my video. This is a message for Aries sun, moon, and rising sign. I actually create 12 messages every single week, one for each zodiac sign. So I'm sure that your sun and your moon and your rising sign are all here. Check them out. Some of them could resonate more than others week by week. These are weekly readings. I will include the astrology predictions for the week, but remember the tarot cards are for any time, and even the astrology energy, it reaches you when it reaches you. This message comes to you at exactly the right time, whether it's a year after it's been uploaded or a second after it's been uploaded. It will call to you. You'll call it to it at the right time. Please, Aries, let this resonate with you as it resonates in your life. So if I give an example that sounds romantic, but it applies more to your work, apply it to work. That's where it applies. This is your reading. Remember, there's always an extended reading, and I hope that you'll join me for that deep dive into what's revealed here. That link is down below in the description box. I also attach it to the end of this video, so you can just click right on it. And, oh Lord, I'm telling you. And I will also pin it to the top of the comment section. So, what am I looking at? Let's talk about the astrology for a second, because I have cards in front of me, and they really do make the astrology make sense. So, in the beginning of the week, there is still tension between Mars and Mercury retrograde. Mars is in retrograde too. Mars retrograde, Mercury retrograde. It's almost like watching two drunks trying to fight each other. It's like kind of a show, you know, like that's kind of what it is. That's kind of what it is, because neither of them has great energy, right? And it's all retrospective and things coming up from the past. Plus, Mars, your ruling dignitary, is in Gemini. So there's a lot of words. There's a lot of taking action with words, saying things, what you heard, things coming up from the past, people throwing shit up to your face. Yeah, absolutely. And then Mercury is still in Capricorn. So it could go down or happen a lot at work, or be a lot about work, or be a lot about breaking the rules or not following the rules, or did you get it to me on time, and blah, 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 blah. Lots of running off, lots of I'm not saying it's going to be a lot of substance, but it's going to be very, very irritating, because it says a square between Mercury retrograde and Mars retrograde, and which means the whole world is going to be experiencing. This is going to be especially difficult for you, since your ruling dignitary is a part of it. Now, Mars is in retrograde until, January 9th. You'll probably feel it through the rest of that week. So say mid-January, you'll start to get your energy. Your energy will pick back up again. Good news is that in your first house, or your traditional first house, I don't know where your first house actually is in your natal chart. I do personal readings. You can check out my website and schedule and book there if you're interested in a real deep dive, full analysis. But the traditional first house, Aries, is where Jupiter is now. So there is some momentum, energy, or at least optimism that has returned to your whole overall sense of life and authority over your life. And Jupiter is in a beautiful position right now. I think it is sextile to Venus, which is luck and fortune. And so I think the way this will make you feel is happy and abundant and optimism returning. There's some even better news for Venus later on in this week, because even though the week starts out rough and at the very least irritating, is that by the end of the week, Mars and Venus are trine. And Venus has gone into Aquarius. So Venus is very at home, being social, being friendly. Maybe a friend becomes a lover, or maybe through being social, you are able to meet somebody if that is what you are looking for. What I do know is that Aquarius is also a very communication, air sign, intellect-oriented sign. So with the trine between Mars in Gemini and Venus in Aquarius means that you're going to be able to actually talk things out and resolve or reconcile any of those crazy issues that came up with the Sesa square to Mercury retrograde. In fact, especially when it comes to your relationships, your romantic relationships, which will go into depth in the extended reading, by the way. But especially when it comes to your romantic relationships, there is a sense of harmony that comes back into them. Being able to make up, being able to feel good about love again, feel good about your lover again, real romantic energy and real sexual energy, sexually charged. So that's going to be a nice ending to a rough week. So if you're smart, in the beginning of the week, what you'll do is you'll use all the crazy energy of throwing words back and forth to each other as a way to resolve issues, as a way to let things come up and resolve those issues. Now, this is why I thought the cards were interesting. First, we have happiness, which is 9 of Cups, and fulfillment. And what this is telling me is that by the full moon is going to be in Cancer, full moon in Cancer, in a couple weeks, since we just had our new moon. So by the full moon, there's a lot of happiness. There's a lot of emotional fulfillment and joy, even pleasure. Pleasure and happiness, though, not the same thing. This is really about happiness. So you do get to resolve a lot of those issues, and there will be big reason to celebrate. There was some interference here in your happiness, maybe thinking of breaking up, thinking of leaving, feeling left behind, or feeling like you were abandoned, or some sort of abandonment happened. You had to cut off a situation, and it all happened because of frickin' words, right? Because of acting or talking or speaking too quickly. A sense of acting too quickly and abandoning something too quickly, or somebody abandoning you too quickly. This could also mean space and time away, a feeling of being isolated. So when somebody comes back to talk to you, it's like you remember how valuable they are in your life, and you're happy to hear from them. That would be almost like the absence makes the heart grow fonder scenario. Let's pick a moon card. Please do leave your comments below, Aries. I always love to know how this energy is impacting you guys. I'm always curious. We have conclusions are within reach. Pisces also got this energy to come out. That's interesting. Conclusions are within reach, which means that the things that you have been confused about, the things that you have had a hard time deciding, you are going to be able to be very decisive now. So you're going to get clarity, and you're going to get confidence to be able to make the decisions, a sure decision that you can actually move forward with. And as long as you're moving, and as long as you're starting to feel that progress, then I guarantee you that's where the happiness is going to come from. Something that you were left behind with, or you felt abandoned by, you felt cut off by, maybe you were fired, you just felt stuck. That is going to be resolved. Conclusions are going to be reached. And once again, we have the reiteration of the full moon. So I would say by that full moon in a couple of weeks from now, but by the end of this week, especially astrologically, you're going to feel a weight starting to be lifted from you. We're going to get deeper into the specifics of conclusions are within reach. Let's go. Conclusions are within reach. What conclusions? I also want to understand what this 8 of Swords was a little bit more. I have to sneeze. I'm so sorry. That took longer than I wanted it to. Thank you so thank you so much for your patience. Conclusions are within reach. What do you mean? What are we deciding on, God? The moon, so it has to do with your emotions or what you feel. So this has to do with deeper emotions, or once again, there was a lot of confusion. It could also be confusion that was happening around the new moon. So think back only to 2 weeks ago. Check your calendar books right now if you have to. This is the time for you to go back. This is the cards communicating to you the time. So around the new moon, what was happening? What was the confusion? What was the hiccup or the emotion or not being able to decide? What were you conflicted about? Hold on, because more cards came out to define this card. We had something happened really quickly, everything coming in really quick, happening really quick, but maybe too quick because the Tower was here. There was some sort of damage or ruin or ending, destruction in some way. It happened really quickly. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles, which means in some ways, something happened that you had to pay a lot of money for. That's kind of what it is. It was like, I just saw a meme the other day on Instagram. It was so funny because I'd experienced it so many times in my life. And the meme said, as soon as my paycheck comes in, you're all happy. And then my car decides it needs new tires, and then you're all sad. It's like as soon as your paycheck comes in, your car breaks down, and you gotta, like it'll find a way to make you spend it. And that's kind of what this is. It's like all of a sudden you were bum rushed with expensive stuff that you had to shell out a lot of money for. And you are an adult, so you took authority over the situation, but it was also really agitated, really irritating. You had to improvise and do the right thing, but it doesn't mean that you ended up with a lot of money. It does mean that you're able to take care of things, and you will have the abundance to take care of things. It's also saying that that's what's going to make you be able to make the decision. When the shit hit the fan and you are able to see how much you need to make a decision or make a change, if you have been stubborn about it, if you have been hemming and hawing, if you have been indecisive, or things weren't clear, it's this sort of financial obligation that comes in that's going to make shit real clear for you real quick. And it's going to be really relieving. I know it sounds like it's going to be a burden, but it's actually a burden that the universe has set up for you to force you to make a decision that you had the luxury of not having to make up until now. And now you're going to make it. And the wonderful thing about it is it's going to make you feel good and probably bring money in. So there is a sense, especially if this was a work situation or an opportunity, it's going to come in if you were not wanting it or thinking it this bill is going to change your mind. That's the scenario. So please tell me below how this is playing out in your life, and if it is actually in your work life, because Mars says a square to Mercury in Capricorn. This, like I said from the beginning, could very well be going down about work, something about work. But now it's almost like you're going to be able to rush to the conclusion. Okay, I need this job, or I'm going to take this job, or I'm going to jump ship and leave my job. Maybe that's what it was. It was like this sense of, you knew the company was falling apart, but you were very comfortable there. And that makes sense with Mars in retrograde. You don't behave as aggressively, or you're not able to take the action or be as decisive as you normally are. It is the wounded warrior, or not necessarily, is the warrior on leave. This is when you like to kick your feet up and you don't have the same vitality as you normally do. So it makes sense that you weren't ready to jump into something. This is basically putting a fire under your ass because you need the funds. It happens real quick. But what are you going to do? And the worst thing is that feeling of being left out in the cold, the feeling, and that's what this is, being left out in the cold, like not having any choice, or feeling like you are worried or concerned about your situation. Not being able to have what you need when you need it. And that is going to make you angry, piss you off, but it's also going to wake you up and sort of push you forward. And that's exactly what the universe wants to do. It wants to push you in a specific direction that you were resisting. Okay, so let's get that direction. Let's see what that was. What is the direction you want? Temperance. Temperance, so a compromise of some sort. Okay. This may be an actual Sagittarius, because what came out was Four of Wands, which is usually the marriage card or the togetherness card, building a home together card. This is the happiness and completion, finding somebody who shares your passions with you, or being able to finally agree on shared passions or shared purpose. Okay. This is finding a way to make things work. This is really good news for resolving any issues within your partnerships if you have a current partner. This is also a sense of being able to be creative and sort of, yeah, it's almost like compromise, but a compromise that makes both of you feel like you win, not feel like you lose. This is also Page of Swords, which means it's coming through communications, through you being able to talk or speak to each other. This is also an idea, could be an idea, but it could also be through text. It's like all of a sudden something is going to be ding, clarify for you, words that needed to be said. And then we have the King of Cups, which is the mentality of emotional fulfillment, the mentality of feeling really good about how things ended up, and really feeling like you're back in control of your emotions and you're emotionally stable. So the emotional stability has returned, maybe because you were able to make amends or be able to work out a situation in your romantic or intimate life. The King of Cups could also be a person. So this would be a water sign, usually a masculine, not necessarily male, but definitely a masculine, which means, you know, progress, potency, action, actionable, that kind of character traits. This is somebody in control of their emotions and very pleased, and happy about the way that they're feeling about the situation. So this is contentment either way. This is a person that is content. It's also somebody that's grown the fuck up. It's also somebody who's taken responsibility for their emotions and doesn't let their emotions get sloppy all over the place. So this is finally resolving an issue and maybe in some ways getting your own shit together and feeling more in control of who you are and how you feel about the situation. But according to the astrology, this is absolutely impacted by what's happening around you. Let us get deeper into what is happening around you to lead to such happiness. What is happening around Aries to lead to such happiness? What is happening around Four of Swords? First of all, you gave yourself some time off, which was smart. It's almost like you were able to allow yourself a break, maybe even a vacation. And if you haven't, the cards are saying do it because you need a fucking break. And I know you're saying, how can I take a break when the Tower just came? Well, let's put it this way. Maybe the Tower came to force you into actually giving yourself a break because you needed to relax and you have been pushing yourself. And if you've been listening to your friendly neighborhood astrologer since October, she's been telling you to not push yourself because Aries should not push themselves when Mars is in retrograde, but Aries loves to push themselves. And when they push themselves when Mars is in retrograde, they tend to break pieces of themselves. So it is probably the best that you, if you haven't taken a rest, relaxation, allow yourself to do so now, especially since it's almost like you're gonna need it after you deal with this surprise, this shock, this shocker. Let's get deeper into what that Tower may be. Even though I thought it was pretty clear, I think it's something financial or that's gonna cost you something. Then we have the Four of Swords, which means you've been able to reflect on something. It's also about reconciliation, which I said in the beginning with the astrology is like you will get to actually speak to somebody, talk to somebody, and be able to reconcile with them about different disagreements or different ways that you saw things. It's almost like you weren't communicating in the same language, not literally, but figuratively. And this is, let the stuff come to the surface and take care of it. But then you will definitely need, it's like the universe is forcing you to like take a break for a second, or you've already taken a break between the new moon and now, and it's given you the perspective and revitalization that you needed to be able to handle things in a way that is going to make you happy. We also have Ace of Pentacles and Three of Swords. So an opportunity to break your heart, or an opportunity that is breaking your heart, that is very interesting. No, an opportunity to deal with something that has been hurting you. And that has a lot to do with your Four of Swords, reflection upon it. This is like that golden opportunity to reflect on something that has been really getting to you and to be able to address it. And it's also saying whatever has broken your heart is almost like, in some ways, what's broken your heart has to deal with you not feeling valuable or you not feeling valued. And all of a sudden, this opportunity comes in to say, not only are you valued, it's like we've been saving all your luck for this moment. And I guarantee you that's going to happen more toward the end of this week. I don't know why 2 more cards just came out. Look at this. 7 of Swords. Somebody was cheating. Somebody was lying. Somebody was stealing. Somebody was on the DL about maybe a relationship or how they felt. So let me tell you something. If you have been running on the DL in a relationship, this is the shit that's going to hit the fan, and this is the reconciliation that's going to be made. If there have just been something that's been depleting your relationship or your connection to somebody else, this is the reconciliation that's going to be made. The two of you able to address what has been draining your passion for each other and to feel that passion coming back. Let me get deeper into what this Tower is. What is this Tower? I'm going to go to the extended, but let me first say, what is this Tower? What is this Tower? An offer of love. No, what was the Tower though? Let me tell you something. It's still coming out what it is. I think it's almost like making you realize that you need somebody. Let's get into the extended. I'll see you there.